Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Smith, and I am a Public Health Resilience Coordinator with CoCares, which is the Colorado Alliance for Resilient and Equitable Systems, serving the healthcare and public health workforce. And welcome to Coaching for Change. So, today our video is effective coaching and feedback. And this is going to be just slightly different than our normal Coaching for Change, where we do a very, very brief overview of a resource, but we don't really go into it that much. This was a course that was actually for the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment employees, and we've just found it really useful. I think everyone could learn more about how to coach a team and how to coach others and how to give feedback. And so with permission from CDPHE, we are bringing this to you as a great resource to just kind of learn more. Maybe you're a new supervisor, or there's been some issues before, or you're just trying to find a better way to lead your people and lead your team. This is a wonderful video. So I hope you enjoy. So welcome to Coaching for Change, Effective Coaching and Feedback. So the content in this video was originally created by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, and we are lucky enough to be able to bring it to you here today. So leading through coaching. So why coaching? Coaching helps employees be more self-aware, really helps to reinforce strengths, overcome challenges. Coaching is a transformational lead skill that inspires innovation, significantly improves employee engagement and productivity and overall success. Trust and respect makes employees happy at work. So there's some coaching golden rules to follow. So fairness, treat everyone equally no matter their rank or anything else. Listen, be humble, truly care about what they say, and be open to change and giving it and accepting feedback. So employees want to be developed, they want to be valued, and they want to perform meaningful work, especially in the healthcare and public health sectors. They leave because of a lack of development opportunities. 66 of employees would quit if they felt unappreciated. Employees don't necessarily quit their organizations, they quit their supervisor. 93% of employees would stay in their current jobs if their boss is empathetic. 88% are engaged, motivated when they have strong recognition at work, versus only 41% are motivated and engaged when they have weak recognition at work. Coaching is about inspiring, encouraging, and challenging others to reach their potential. So, what is in it for you and your employees if you were to adopt this style of managing, more of a coaching style? So, for you, you would be able to trust your employees more. You would understand each other better, which again leads to trust. You would feel a sense of satisfaction as you see your employees grow, develop, and become capable of doing more. Allow your employees to hold on to more responsibility and accountability, which in turn actually does help you, right? The employees, respected as partners, they feel confident, they feel a competency, they feel more empowered, they feel more creative and innovative. And the company and organization benefits from more collaboration and inclusion, more engagement and productivity, and a decrease in turnover. So why do employees struggle? They lack skills or ability to complete the current task. They have a lack of motivation or focus, confidence, and commitment. There may be environmental concerns or a lack of available resources. Supervisor accountability. If your employees are not performing well, as a supervisor, you need to look at yourself first. So let's read that again. If your employees are not performing well, as a supervisor, you need to look at yourself first. Not to say that you are the cause of the problem or the only cause of the problem, but that's the first place you should start, is looking into yourself. And remember, people are our greatest resource. So treat them as such and really try to keep them and help them grow and develop. So now we're going to look at a short video.
The rate at which people move on from their job during a specific period is called employee turnover. And this is your litmus test to see if the company culture is working. There's a simple formula to work it out. Take the number of folks who leave over a given period and divide that by the average number of employees. Then times that by 100 and you have your turnover percentage rate. High turnover is costly for the company, wastes time and resources, and is bad for morale. So, how do you keep that turnover rate low? Get details from an exit interview. An exit interview reveals why a person might have left, from a poor onboarding experience to a heavy workload to bullying or a lack of opportunity for career development. Make a plan for improving managers. Poor management is at the heart of most voluntary turnover. Giving managers the skills to build positive relationships, communicate expectations, and inspire motivation rules. Use the opportunity to transform. When unsuitable talent leaves, high-performing talent can fill the gap. Offering career development, competitive compensation, or better benefits promotes engagement. Build a work community to strengthen connections. Virtual platforms and in-person team building activities support the team. It's a perfect forum to champion inclusivity and celebrate people's achievements. The right HR tech can enable community building, learning, and development. They give the flexibility to open the floor to people's concerns and enable you to make plans to address, manage, and if needed, turn employee turnover around. So, ready to take your HR plans to the next level?
So coaching is not helping an employee understand why their anxiety is preventing them from getting work done. It is not therapy. Coaching is not just a nice way of teaching someone something. Teaching involves the direct transfer of skills and knowledge. Coaching is not memorizing techniques or devising the perfect game plan. This does not put the focus on the employee. Coaching is believing in the employee's strengths enough to hold a mirror up and showing them what they're good at. Coaching is listening and collaborating. Coaching is really paying attention to the people, really believing in them, really caring about them, and really involving them. So, emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? So, it's an awareness of one's thoughts and feelings, as well as those of others, so that you can take the appropriate actions to manage yourself in a way that gets the most out of every interaction. So, I do believe that being a good coach and a good supervisor and manager of people is really takes a lot of emotional intelligence. So I would definitely make sure that you are aware of what emotional intelligence is and that you work on it. So the coaching mindset. So ask yourself, do I know what my buttons and triggers are and how to manage them? Buttons and triggers are really sensitive areas that set off an emotional reaction. Understanding what your buttons and triggers are can help you react in a better way. It will take time to work on your emotions and reactions to these triggers. It's not going to be an overnight type of thing or a one time, one and done. You're going to have to really work on finding your buttons and triggers and working on your emotional reactions. So, some things you can do are take deep breaths. When you're in fight or flight mode, your breathing becomes irregular, fast, short, and shallow. So, take some deep breaths before speaking. Maybe distract yourself so you're not just emotionally triggered right there or have an emotional reaction. Try to use your words. Be ready with the script if you need to, write something down ahead of time if you think you might be triggered. Don't forget to process your feelings. These are all valid feelings and emotions, but you need to figure out, how to process them, where they're coming from, really, because usually it's not the button or trigger, it's something from the past, and you have to work that out. So, bias. Bias is something that you should definitely look into and definitely start thinking about when you're trying to learn how to coach others. So, there's explicit bias, which is our conscious bias. These are bias that we're aware of and can consciously access. And then you have implicit bias, which is that unconscious bias. So, bias you are not consciously aware of. So, they can be learned attitudes and stereotypes, things we've learned and just have been around most of our lives. So, examples can be ageism or gender bias. And then there's first impression bias, which is making up your mind so soon after meeting someone, it corrupts your overall judgment. So, there could be red flags, but you've made up your mind already about the one time you met them or the first time. So you're kind of ignoring all the others. And then we have the halo effect, which is giving excessive weight to one positive characteristic, sometimes despite several negatives. And this can definitely affect how you coach and provide feedback. So, for instance, if a trusted friend or trusted colleague recommended someone to you, then you might be more inclined to overall feel positively about the recommended person, even though if you would normally have met this person maybe without a recommendation, you may see more of the negative parts of that. Um, and then the harshness or horn effect, which is the opposite of halo. So that's letting one negative characteristic overshadow the big picture view of an employee. So don't make assumptions. So make sure you're really thinking of those. I think the horn effect, definitely I've, been around that a little bit more when one kind of part of an employee, because maybe that's all you see. Maybe you haven't really been coaching them, so you haven't really gotten to know them very well. And so this one negative part is really affecting your view. So make sure we're using the coaching skills that we have to get to know people and let go of some of these biases. Performance versus trust. Trust is more important to any organization than performance, or it should be. And sometimes I think we lack in that area. We try to keep people who are performing well versus people who really have a good team and are trusting of their team, and their employees and their colleagues. A high performing employee or supervisor with low trust creates a toxic work environment. So anytime there's a toxic work environment, there's no trust there for sure. It's been broken. So make sure you're looking at those kind of areas. And just because somebody's performing well and putting out performance doesn't mean that necessarily it's a good situation. You must build trust with your employees and within your team. If not, the team will not be sustainable. Be intentional about making it safe for your employees to share their thoughts and feelings and for you to show genuine interest. This reduces reactions like silence, withholding information, or violence, forcing others to see your point of view. Conversations begin to fail because participants feel unsafe. Conversations. If employees feel their views aren't being heard, safety will begin to break down. The conversation will no longer get results, and it becomes more about defending dignity or scoring points. So, rebuild safety by discussing mutual purpose and objectives. Establish mutual foundations of trust. Learn to see when your employees start to feel unsafe. When this happens, stop talking about the current conversation. So, when you start seeing somebody feeling unsafe or going quiet, just stop talking about what it is you're talking about and address the safety issue. So, one thing you can do is ask, mirror, paraphrase, and prime, AMPP. So, you can ask the other person what is really going on. You mirror, so ask the person to confirm what you're observing, such as you seem upset or you seem angry at me. And then paraphrasing builds additional safety. So restate what the other person said in your own words. Make sure that you are understanding what they are saying. And then you can prime, so you can take your best guess at what other people may be thinking. So if they're not maybe starting that conversation, you can just take a stab at it and throw something out there and start the conversation. It doesn't mean take over the conversation. It just means like trying to help get it started about what you may think is going on. So just learn to step out of the content for a minute, create that mutual purpose, and resolve the conflict. Then you can return to a healthy dialogue. And again, hopefully this can happen in a conversation right then, but maybe it might take a few times, meeting to really resolve it. So, growth versus a fixed mindset. I think when you're coaching, you definitely need to be in a growth mindset. The growth mindset, you think about challenges that are helping you grow. You think about how feedback is constructive. You like to try new things. I'm inspired by the success of others. Failure is an opportunity to grow. Effort and attitude determine my abilities. So, definitely an open mind there. And a fixed mindset, you're saying, I am either good at it or I'm not. My potential is predetermined. I do not like to be challenged. When I am frustrated, I give up. Feedback and criticism are personal. I can either do it or I cannot. Failure is the limit of my abilities. A person with a growth mindset believes that everyone can change and grow with application and practice. A person with a fixed mindset believes that their abilities and qualities will not change. So I think coming at it as a coach, you want to make sure you're definitely in that growth mindset. Hopefully your team is as well, but I think doing these coaching sessions and becoming more of a coach to people and trying to develop them and help them grow will change their fixed mindset as well. They'll learn that, feedback and criticism can be good. They're not personal, they're just trying to help you grow. You can help them learn to be challenged in good ways and just learn to be better at things and to be keep working towards their goals. All failures can lead to growth. We learn by trying, by taking risks and failing. Failure opens the doors to new ideas. Handle mistakes and failures in a positive way. So, this is all part of growth. This is all part of developing yourself as a person, as an employee, or whatever it may be. So, this is a great way to think about all of your coaching that you're going to be doing. So, what are coaching conversations? So, we want to make sure they're intentional, they're goal oriented. You want to focus on the other person and their strengths and challenges. You want to stimulate thinking. You want to talk about growth. And you want to be comfortable with change that leads to action. And some of the most powerful coaching experiences are informal discussions in hallways, cafeterias, workspaces, etc. It doesn't have to necessarily just be those one-on-one times or a specific meeting. So here we have 3 core coaching skills. So you want to make sure you're listening like a coach, listen carefully, use your active listening skills, repeat back what you hear someone say. You want to think like a coach, think about the now and respond thoughtfully. Speak like a coach. Everything you say is in service of the person you are coaching. So these are coaching sessions for the employee, right? This is not really about you. This is in service of them and helping them grow. And speak to them as though they are fully functioning adults who are capable. So please make sure when you're having these conversations, everyone's a grown adult that you should be speaking with in this time, and they're capable, they can do their work. So speak to them in that way. Don't speak condescending. Just make sure that you're working together as a team. And resist imposing your own solutions. Really, coaching is about pulling things out of that person that you are coaching, trying to help them help solve their problem. You are there to just facilitate, kind of give ideas, and help them along the way. So during coaching conversations, you want to listen for things like, can you help me think things through? I need some help. I'd like to bounce some ideas off of you. Those right there are things like where that coaching mindset should come and go, okay, now it's time to coach. Let's do it. And remember the AMPP. So make sure you're asking the questions, mirroring what people are saying, paraphrasing by repeating what they are saying to make sure you're understanding correctly, and prime. So by taking a stab at a thought or an idea, you can get the conversation started. Not to keep going with it, but just to, again, just get that conversation started. So now we're going to watch a quick video here on managing versus coaching.
Hi, I'm Sharissa Newton, and I'd like to talk to you about managing versus coaching. Now, it's not uncommon to hear the term managing and coaching used interchangeably, but coaching is actually a function of managing that every good leader must be able to do well, while the term managing refers to the job of overseeing the work of others. The responsibilities of a manager typically include, but are not limited to, the following: onboarding and orienting new employees, conducting meetings, delegating tasks and assignments, giving feedback, monitoring progress and performance, making decisions, and dealing with conflicts. The term coaching refers to a two-way communication process between members of the organization aimed at influencing and developing the employee's skills, motivation, or ability to perform. Now, unfortunately, too many managers fall short of success because they focus on the task and the bottom line results, and they overlook the fact that results are best achieved through developing and inspiring others to achieve those results. With regular and skillful coaching, managers can fulfill their responsibility to deliver enhanced performance and improved productivity, a work environment where people are highly engaged, and a culture of trust within the organization. Once a manager learns how to think, talk, and act like a coach, the coaching process not only becomes second nature to the manager, but the attitudes and behaviors of his or her team will change for the better.
So, why feedback? You can know if you're on the right track or not. Don't let too much time pass before giving feedback or recognition. Feedback is needed so employees know they either need to change course or keep moving forward. So that's why we don't want to make any too much time pass. For recognition, I think people start feeling like they've been ignored and they're not being recognized for the things they're doing. And then with feedback, you want to make sure that they're changing course if they need to, or they can keep doing what they're doing. And that really helps for people to make sure that everything's going the way it should be. And 5 essential principles of feedback. So you understand that there are 2 types of feedback. There's reinforcing and then there's redirecting. You want to make sure you're balancing the feedback. You want to describe what is observable, and you want to make it specific, and you want to make it timely. So reinforcing feedback or positive feedback, it's reinforcing current employee job performance or behavior. It affects their morale and motivation. So you can say something like, "You reviewed our strategic plan doc and found 3 errors. That is terrific, Crystal. Now we have an accurate report." So you've acknowledged them, you've shown some appreciation and reinforced to help sustain the positive performance, right? So that she knows that she's doing good and she's on the right track. And also making sure that, again, you've made sure you've written this down somewhere when this happened so you know to talk about it in this time, right? You've made it a point to remember it and to talk about it. And then redirecting feedback creates learning opportunities out of performance mistakes or gaps. And it specifically targets behavior and performance. So it should be really specific on what something happened, right? There was a behavior and a performance. So you can say something like, "I noticed that the weekly invoice was turned in on Thursday and it was due on Wednesday. Can we talk about some ways to ensure the invoice is turned into the division director on time?" So I think this is a great one because it doesn't say anything about you're just assuming the employee just didn't want to do their job or, doesn't want to do their job or anything negative. It really takes out that negative connotation and it's just like, "Hey, this happened. How can we fix it?" And it could bring to light, maybe a different conversation. Maybe there was a communication error and it wasn't their fault or something like that. But it's also just going, "Hey, how can we fix this?" Not assuming any malintent on the employee's part, but let's work together to fix it. And then balance the feedback. So employees need both types of feedback. And you want to make sure that you're describing what is observable, what you actually see the employees work in the employees work. What are they doing? Be more present, aware, and focused in these times. And do not include opinions, gossip, rumors, feelings, or anything about the employee or personality characteristics. Okay. You want to stick to the facts. This is just about this one time, one thing, or maybe a couple things that you're giving feedback on. You also want to make it specific. You want to mention dates, times, people, places, and specific behaviors. Make it timely. Employees who receive daily feedback from their manager are 3 times more likely to be engaged than those who receive feedback once a year or less. And give it soon after the event, within 1 business day or week. So make sure it is very timely. Don't let time pass, because then it's sort of almost a missed opportunity, right? We need to catch things as they're doing them, and so either that positive or redirecting feedback. So this is just more on meeting with employees, and like when are good times to meet, and how should you be doing it. So the established expectations, role and relationship orientation, about 1 to 2 hours. Why is to the initial convo to get to know employee strengths and set expectations. So this would be more of like the when they first start, um, and then semi-annually outside of that yearly progress. So it's just kind of like an expectations meeting where you can discuss their purpose, goals, metrics, development, strategy, and well-being. And then the continually coach is the quick connect, 1 to 10 minutes. You can do these ongoing daily or weekly, just so employees don't feel ignored. Concentrate on their strengths and engagement. And this can be at least once weekly. And it can be through email, phone, or in the hallway. Again, 1 to 10 minutes. It shouldn't take a lot of time. And you can try to figure out if there's a great way to do it over email, or if you want a quick virtual meeting, or if you're in person, that's a great time to do these, is when you're catching people in the hallway. And then the continually coached check-ins, which are one-on-ones. So 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on the person and what the job is. You want to review successes and barriers, align and kind of set priorities, minimum twice monthly or weekly, and you want to discuss expectations, workload, goals, and needs. And then you have the continually coach, which is development coaching. This has a high impact on an employee's career. So, really, this should be just when necessary. If they're exploring career or development opportunities, maybe they've talked about focusing on something in their work and they want to develop this. And so, that can be a great time to do these coaching opportunities. Or maybe you have a skill that they want to learn and you're trying to help them develop that. So, meeting with them, just depending on when you guys can work it out, would be a great time to do that. And then create accountability. So progress reviews. These are when you celebrate successes, preparing for future achievements, planning development and growth. And these are twice yearly. So these are the progress reviews. You can develop IPGs, or individual performance goals, and you can just ask questions. So this is a time where it's like asking questions about what they want in the future, how's their growth and development, things like that. It really shows that you care about developing them. So this is a great time to do that. So there's 2 coaching models that we'll go over. This is the GROW coaching model, where you want to establish the goal, examine the current reality, explore the options, establish the will. So for goals, you can use SMART goals, make them specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And then reality, so have a good understanding of their current problem or starting point. So just kind of get to know where they are really. And then options. So brainstorm together, offer suggestions, but let them do most of the talking. So will, boosting their motivation, looking at obstacles and how to overcome them, and then asking open-ended questions. So don't lead them on, don't ask yes or no questions, really try to pull out where they are and how they're doing, and looking for that motivation. And then the fuel coaching model is 4 steps and flexible. You want to frame the conversation. You want to have purpose, process, desired outcomes. You want to understand the current state from employees' point of view. and expand your awareness from your perspective. And then you want to explore the desired state. So, where do they want to be, right? What's the outcome? And have employees articulate their vision of success and then explore multiple paths and alternate paths before of how to achieve that vision, right? So, what is all the roads that we can take to get you to what we want? And then lay out a success plan. So identify specific time-bound action steps, again, like those SMART goals, to be taken to achieve the desired results and determine milestones for follow-up and accountability. So that is it for the effective coaching and feedback course. So again, we've taken this from that CDPHE course and put it here for you guys just to get all that great information that was in there about how to be an effective coach, how to give feedback. I think it's going to be really helpful for anyone who's either wanting to manage people and coach people or somebody who is already doing that in their job now. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.